Hi everyone, and welcome into the Mercer County Football Show here on WBCB1490.com alongside the Trentonians George O'Gorman, Mike Samsel with you, joining you for week number 2 of the Mercer County High School football season. George, interesting one, week 1 certainly produced some interesting results, and I would say the biggest one coming on Saturday afternoon, Trenton really struggling with Trenton struggling with Rancocas Valley, that is.
Well, it depends on what is surprising in that game. I mean, we knew that Trenton could have trouble with a, basically experienced Rancocas Valley team led by Jordan Sadusky, their returning quarterback who threw for 14 touchdowns and I believe 1,500 yards last season. What was interesting was Trenton driving on their opening possession with Samaj Willis, a highly, regarded sophomore, ripping off some big runs, but then RV recovered and scored the next 27 points and beat the Tornadoes 27-7.
Yeah.
That wasn't that big of a surprise. Maybe a bigger surprise probably was the way Allentown on Friday night ran the ball right up the gut against Notre Dame and really, did a number on the Irish. And then you turn around and on Saturday at the same time Trenton was losing to Rancocas Valley, at the other end of Hamilton Avenue, Lenape is bulldozing its way past Nottingham. So those were 3 surprising results. 3 of the more traditional, powerful teams in the county, at least in the last couple of years, Notre Dame, Nottingham, and Trenton, getting handled rather convincingly. Probably some of the bigger surprises might have been Lawrence's win under Nate Jones, kicking off the Nate Jones coaching era, going in and knocking off Ewing, which, Drew Bessler's Blue Devils expected to be one of the better teams in Mercer County this year. And the Lawrence Cardinals, not believing all the naysayers who said, wow, they don't have any experience, they graduated all their best players from the last year.
Right.
Hey, Nate Jones put together a nice, a nice offense, excellent defense, and they handled Ewing. And probably, maybe the biggest, I guess I'd have to classify it as an upset, was Princeton handling Hamilton.
Yeah.
Princeton under Charlie Gallagher getting their first win since the end of the 2012 season, and with Liam Hellstrom doing an outstanding job and David Beamer, the quarterback, really, the Princeton Little Tigers really put a number on Hamilton. And you got to wonder, Hamilton now is playing Notre Dame on Saturday. And what do you make of that game? I mean,
right.
2 of the veteran coaches, Chappie Moore and Tom Hogan, both of their teams coming off opening day losses. Probably, I don't know what was the bigger upset, if you want to call it an upset.
Right.
I mean, everybody thought that Hamilton would go into Princeton and handle them, and they obviously didn't. Other results, Cinnaminson made it pretty much a clean sweep in blowing out Robbinsville 55-0. And, Dave Caldwell's Hopewell Valley Club picking up right where it left off last year in a handling Burlington Township, which was another team that suffered some major losses, not only through graduation but in transfers. Hopewell Valley going into Burlington Township and coming away with a 35-13 win. Now Hopewell Valley's got Heightstown coming in on Friday night. Heightstown, did a nice job. I mean, they handled West Windsor Plainsboro South 27-22 on Friday night. So that's probably one of the better matchups on the schedule for this coming week.
Right. Is
Friday night, Heightstown going in to play Hopewell Valley.
Yeah, that should be a very good game. Some results from around the county. We mentioned Rancocas Valley 27, Trenton 7, Allentown 30, Notre Dame nothing. That was certainly a surprising result that we had for you on the WBCB Sports Network. Heightstown did defeat West Windsor Plainsboro South 27-22. Also Cinnaminson 55, Robbinsville nothing. Victorious on the week as well. Hopewell Valley 35, Burlington Township 13, Princeton 28-7. Over Hamilton, Lenape 37, Nottingham 6, Lawrence 22, Ewing 13, and probably the game of the week, George, featured West Windsor Plainsboro North defeating Steinert 19-14.
West Windsor Plainsboro North did an excellent job. And Coach Riley, who was the defensive coordinator at Hopewell Valley last year, goes in there and did an outstanding coaching debut with the, with a very good West Windsor Plainsboro North team. Got some experience at quarterback, found some receivers. That's a team that can move the ball, and they got a. That's probably the big game coming up Friday night is West Windsor North going into Allentown.
Yeah, that should be a very good game as well. We'll let you know what games we have coming up this week on the WBCB Sports Network. Don't forget you can also follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/WBCB Sports. You're watching the Mercer County Football Show presented by St. Francis Medical Center, your heart hospital in the city of Trenton, and we'll be right back after this. You're on WBCB1490.com.
Discover the dealer for the people, Haldeman Ford Subaru, Route 33 in Hamilton Township. One of the region's finest state-of-the-art service facilities for all makes and models. A service facility so good, local school districts get their buses serviced at Haldeman. Police fleets, local municipalities get their cars and trucks serviced at Haldeman. From oil changes to tire sales, Haldeman Ford services all makes and models. And they offer tires for just $10 over cost on name brand tires like Goodyear and Pirelli. And their waiting room offers complimentary food. And there's a special Wi-Fi room available for your use. So no matter where you purchase your car, get it serviced at Haldeman Ford, the dealership for the people on Route 33 in Hamilton Township.
Jerry Blavitt here to tell you about St. Francis Medical Center, the heart hospital in the city of Trenton. St. Francis Medical Center is one of the region's top cardiac care centers, serving all of Mercer, Bucks, and Burlington counties. Their staff of highly trained physicians provide state-of-the-art heart care to patients with cardiovascular disease and pride themselves as being the only regional heart center to offer a full spectrum of individualized services. And Consumer Report ranks St. Francis Medical Center in the top 10 hospitals in New Jersey for safety, and the #1 hospital in Mercer County, St. Francis Medical Center, the Heart Hospital.
Welcome back to the Mercer County Football Show here on WBCB1490.com. That's George, I'm Mike. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Today's show brought to you by the St. Francis Medical Center, your heart hospital in the city of Trenton. 2 games coming up for you on the WBCB Sports Network this weekend. They're both on Saturday. Coming up at 11 a.m., 10:45 Trentonian pregame show. George and Sean Lerman will have the live call as it will be Steiner taking on Trenton. That game will be taking place at Steiner. Yep, Kyle Muller, starting quarterback over there at Steiner at Spartan Stadium, so make sure you get on out and check that one out. And also coming up at 1 o'clock on the WBCB Sports Network, 12:45 pregame show, Hamilton takes on Notre Dame.
Before we get into the schedule of games for this week, one good point to come out. One of the great traditions in Mercer County football for the last, I'd say, 25 years, the 12th Man Touchdown Club, which did not kick off its season last Tuesday, is back this Tuesday and will run for the entire season at Leonardo's 2 on Route 1 in Lawrence Township. And Steve Tuckerson and the Delaware Valley chapter of the National Football Foundation hosts the 12th Man Touchdown Club, where they honor 4 or 5 players of the week, and the coaches get in and talk about their previous game and what's upcoming for the week. So that was a great tradition in Mercer County, which ran for, I'd say, about 30 years, starting back in the old days at Whitey's Quaker Bridge Inn. Had a few different sites. It was at Mercer County Boathouse. Now that's under reconstruction. So while they searched for a new location, they found it at Leonardo's 2, and it started this past Tuesday, and will continue every Tuesday. There may be a change. It may also go to a Wednesday, but right now, hey, the good thing is that the 12th Man Touchdown Club is back in operation for another season.
Yeah, props to all the folks over at Leonardo's, too, and props to Steve Tuckerson and everyone involved there as well that was able to bring back the 12th Man Touchdown Club. It really is a great tradition, and one of the great moments in Mercer County football last year did not happen on the field. It happened at the 12th Man Touchdown Club with J. Ron Brown's Lineman of the Year speech.
Oh, that was an unbelievable performance by J. Ron Brown. But, you remember in instances like that over the course of many years, and having been able to be at the 12th Man Touchdown Club dinner for so many years, honoring the athletes and, getting their picture taken and, describing what they did to earn their individual honors. it's great because it's another showcase for the kids. And I think coming up again, they'll have Captain's Night. They'll have the night when they present the check to Kathy DeGostanzo for the Mercer County Sunshine Foundation with the profits that were raised from the last Sunshine Bowl. And just a good night. It's a good night if you're a football fan. You don't have to be a coach. You don't have to be a parent. You just want to, be there and learn about Mercer County High School football and talk about it and hear about it. Come on out to Leonardo's too.
Couple of great games coming up for you on Friday night. First one is going to be at Allentown, just outside the Mercer County line, but still a heck of a football game that will feature the North Knights taking on Allentown. Two teams that had pretty impressive performances last week. Allentown hammering Notre Dame 30-0 in that game, and also a 19-14 win for West Windsor Plainsboro North. This is a spot for the North Knights to prove, hey, we're one of the premier teams in Mercer County.
Everybody thought that they were going to be good. They may just be a little bit better than some people expected them to be, but this will be a huge test against a very balanced offensive package and a great blocking up front that the Jay Graber's Redbirds got last week in their defeat of Notre Dame, which ironically, the previous time that Jay Graber had returned to his alma mater as the Allentown coach 2 years ago, he brought in a team that was 6-0, and the Irish knocked them off. So this time, although it was the opening game of the season, it was still a huge momentum builder for the Redbirds, who, if they can, possibly get by West Windsor North this week, can really build up a lot of momentum heading into the later part of the season. Remember, Allentown has been changed around in groups. They're now in the South Jersey Group 3. So they won't be seeing the traditional teams from Mercer County or from the area like the Neptunes and some of those teams. But they got a nice package over there at Allentown. Michael Curry, the quarterback, we saw him the other night. He didn't have to throw the ball a lot, but he threw the ball well. They've got some outstanding running backs: Drew Apostolico, Jake DeRizzi.
Jake Alessi.
Jake Alessi. He can kick the ball really well. He hit did he hit a couple of field goals, I think? Yeah, let me look over the stats. You start to forget about some of these things.
Yeah, Matt DeRissi, their kicker that took over this year, had a couple of field goals in that game. One from 34, I believe.
Jake DeRizzi had 111 yards, and how about Jordan Winston? They brought him in later in the game, and he ran for a touchdown. That's an outstanding package that Jay Graber and the Redbirds have. Coming out of that game, you got to wonder what happened to Notre Dame. I mean, we knew that they had the new quarterback moving in there, but we thought that Notre Dame's defense would be, able to contain, Allentown's running game, and they just weren't able to.
Right.
They unveiled. They knew, what was it, 3-3-5 formation on defense.
Yeah, they played 3-4, 3-3-5. A lot of hybrid defenses.
And well, it really didn't work for the Irish. I mean, unless Allentown is a lot stronger than we thought they were going to be.
Right.
Because they just ran the ball right up the gut on Notre Dame, and were able to rip off some big runs. Didn't have to throw a lot of passes. And Notre Dame, we calculated they had 2 first downs in the game.
They had 2 first downs. Yep.
That's an unbelievable stat. I can never remember a Notre Dame team.
2 offensive first downs. That is 1 via penalty.
At least in Mercer County, a Notre Dame team being handled, by a county opponent. I had to go back and check. I think it went back to 2005 was the last time Notre Dame had been shut out.
Wow.
In Mercer County. And that, ironically, was at Princeton. I remember it was a Saturday morning game, and the Irish got shut out at Princeton. But, we'll see what type of year this is going to be for the Irish. They've got to get back on the... it's interesting to say, it's only the second week of the season, but this could be a turning point for both Hamilton and Notre Dame.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if Hamilton had a lot of high hopes coming into this season, if they were to fall to 0-2, they would really be struggling. And on the other side, if Notre Dame were to fall to 0-2, heading into a game with Rancocas Valley the following week, which, by the way, in case you're wondering, that game has now been moved from Mount Holly to Notre Dame. It will be played a week from Friday because the Rancocas Valley field, which was supposed to be turf, apparently the turf contractors, there was a problem developed, so they have to take up the turf and add new stone base. So they've changed that game, and that'll be played up here at Notre Dame a week from Friday, and we'll see how that handles. If Notre Dame doesn't defeat Hamilton on Saturday, they're looking at the possibility of an 0-3 start.
Yeah.
And remember, they lost their last 3 games to close last year.
Yeah, they haven't won a game since October of last year.
Well, that's struggling for Chappie Moore and John McKenna and the Irish. But there's some very good matchups this weekend, and we're excited about a few of them. And we'll see how Lawrence is as they go into play Princeton, right?
Yeah, Lawrence will take on Delran, actually.
Delran,
That game's coming up on Friday night. Other games around the county, we'll have Nottingham at West Windsor Plainsboro South Friday night. Ewing at Princeton on Friday night. That's an interesting game because Ewing, another team that came in with high hopes that could fall to 0-2 on the season. And Princeton, who hasn't won a game since, 2012, all of a sudden could be 2-0 on the season. That could be very interesting as well. Coming up, you have Trenton and Steiner. That game will be on the WBCB Sports Network, as will Notre Dame and Hamilton. And also on Saturday, Robbinsville, who lost 55-0 to the team last week. They took on Cinnaminson, will now be facing Clayton this week.
It's about as far south as you can go.
Yeah, in New Jersey, it certainly is. We'll be back with more on the Mercer County Football Show right after this.
Hi, Merrill Reese to tell you about our good friends at the Revere Ristorante Italiano in nearby Ewing Township at 802 River Road. I can tell you that from South Philadelphia to New York's Mulberry Street, there's no better Italian cuisine than that served at the Revere. Start your meal with one of their great appetizers or salads. Entrees include outstanding veal dishes, fresh seafood daily, excellent steaks and chops, homemade pasta dishes, daily specials, and much more. You can also enjoy their bar area, where on most weekends, entertainment is offered. The Revere also does off-premise catering and can accommodate private parties for any affair, including business functions. Call the Revere Ristorante Italiano for more information and reservations at 609-882-6365. 882-6365. The Revere Ristorante Italiano open Monday through Friday for lunch and 7 days for dinner at 802 River Road, right off the Wilbertha Road exit on Route 29 in nearby Ewing Township.
Don't forget, if you miss any of your local high school sports action, you can read all about it in tomorrow's edition of the Trentonian. For your complete local and national news 7 days a week, it's the Trentonian, or online at thetrentonian.com. The only newspaper serving Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer County 7 days a week, it's the Trentonian.
Mike Samsel, George O'Gorman with you, back on the Mercer County Football Show one final time to put a wrap on things. But before we do, taking a look at the Saturday afternoon games, we already previewed Hamilton and Notre Dame. That'll be coming up on the WBCB Sports Network. But another interesting game will feature Trenton taking on Steiner. Poor Steiner. Can't seem to get a break right now. They've been bit by the injury bug. They lost 2 of their very good linebackers, Anthony Francioso being one of them. It could be a tough season again for the Spartans, and a bad spot to face a Trenton team that's probably going to be very angry.
The Tornadoes should be very angry because they hurt themselves a lot against Rancocas Valley with poor tackling, and RV, a much more experienced team, was able to move the ball. Trenton had opportunities. Andrew Holt, Tommy Neal, complimenting Samaj Willis, who's just going to get better and better as he gets more experience. And the quarterback, Juan Rivera, he can throw the ball. They got some receivers. Tootle is a very good receiver, but Trenton's got a be a lot more consistent. Their defense isn't bad.
Right.
Trenton's got a big defense, and it'll be interesting to see how they handle Steiner. I would think that Trenton's young kids learned a lot in that game, being especially the sophomores, and I think they're going to follow the senior leadership of guys like Holt and Neal, and really handle it. I think they're going to try to put a lot of pressure on Kyle Muller, the Steiner quarterback, who's he's getting better. He sets up in the pocket well. Big kid, about 6'1", 6'2". He can pick out his receivers. Just when we thought that Kyle Muller's, claim to fame was really as a pitcher for Steiner's baseball team, Muller really has potential as a quarterback. Big, strong arm. And it'll be interesting to see how Steiner traditionally gives Trenton a hard time. And we'll see how Dan Caruso's Spartans bounce back from that opening loss, which they got to feel, obviously don't feel happy about the loss, but the way that West Windsor North was able to move the ball on them.
Right.
So now they run into a team that's got a very good running game. Mm-hmm. Last week it was the passing of West Windsor North that really hurt them. Now it's going to be they got to find a way to stop Trenton's run.
Again, your two games for you on the WBCB Sports Network this weekend, both on Saturday. 11 a.m. is the kickoff between Trenton at Steinert. That'll be heard on the AM, WBCB 1490, on the FM, 107.7 The Bronx and 107.7thebronx.com. Matt Miro, Rich Fisher have all the live play-by-play of Notre Dame and Hamilton. Hear that starting with the Trentonian pregame show at 12:45. Partner, should be another fun week, and I think early season we always find out about teams. I think this is going to be one of those weeks where we find out about a couple of teams. We're going to find out how good West Windsor Plainsboro North is, and we're going to find out if either Notre Dame or Hamilton can salvage their season.
Yeah, it's interesting to say that we're only into the second week of September. Are you going to salvage your season? Be interesting to see how Drew Wiley, he was hurt for Hopewell Valley in their win over Burlington Township. If he's able to bounce back this week, Hopewell would have to be considered a strong favorite to handle Hightstown, but we don't know. It'll be interesting to see how how Lorenzo Bryant and the Hopewell Valley run game is able to move the ball against against Hightstown on Friday night out there at Atchison Field.
Lorenzo Bryant and Hopewell Valley sure felt weird to say, didn't it?
Yeah.
Until next week for the Mercer County Football Show, a thanks to our sponsors, the St. Francis Medical Center, your heart hospital in the city of Trenton.
By the way, next week's games are on Thursday, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
It's the Jewish...
Yeah, there's a holiday coming up this weekend.
Friday night, or the games are Thursday, right?
Games are Thursday night, correct.
And none on Saturday.
I believe so.
Okay.
So, interesting week coming up. That's next week on the Mercer County Football Show. We'll preview that for you, but until next time, that's George. I'm Mike. We'll see you next week.